right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for coming. Thanks for following everything that we've gotten out so far. Hopefully you can hear us with our mask on. I just put mine on. I'm not gonna front, man. I'm outside and shit, but I wanted everybody to see my Just Cause mask.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we should take them off just to make sure. You guys stay over there, so you can hear us. We'll take them off, cool. or you can read our lips.
Right. Indeed. But anyway, guys, yeah. So we're downtown at Acacia Park. There was just a teach-in down here that it was DSA that did that. And they're currently right now they're marching down to the police operations center, and it sounds like they might be coming back. We hear some screaming going up the street, but man, downtown has been crazy as hell for the past
month.
Yeah,
right?
like for a minute, man. It's just been different, a whole different vibe. You know what I'm saying? So we're walking down the sidewalks or whatever. You see BLM spray painted on the fucking sidewalk and in the crosswalks and stuff, man. So it's just a whole nother vibe, man. I cussed out this dude wearing an ice hat, and everybody was just like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Fuck
you know what I'm saying?
Why is that guy wearing that?
Yeah, like what the hell are you sitting down here with an ice hat on, man? Get your ass out of here, man. But yeah. So anyway, what you been up to, brothers? Feel like we haven't talked in a while, man.
Well, I've been downtown a lot, actually.
Yeah, me too.
But just trying to bring some cohesion to, like, the protest stuff has been fantastic. It's been great. There's been like so much energy, so many new people getting involved, a lot of young people getting involved, but also like I've also started teaching and getting my class going. Actually, we just went out to Nob Hill Urban Arts District and with a little class field trip and went and checked out all those murals out there, which was pretty cool. You guys should check it out if you've never been out there.
Go down there, man. It's a lot of good work.
And then last week, I want to say, we had a little DSA Empowerment Solidarity Network Chinook Center rally, and then today we had the DSA teach-in for Abolition.
Yeah.
We had a good turnout, a great discussion. People actually came out and were engaged in a serious discussion about how to abolish the police and how to abolish prisons and what that would actually look like in society. It was great. And then right when that ended, the rally that Sean was just talking about for justice for Elijah McClain just started. So I mean, it's just been like
right one after another, and then there's more stuff going on. Stephanie Rose is going to be at the Wild Goose tonight, right down the hall, right down the street here, talking about her conciliation project that she's got going on. So that's at 7:30. There's another thing happening at 7 o'clock. I can't remember, man. I read it.
Raw Tools.
Raw Tools. Yeah. So anyway, my memory is all the way jacked the hell up, man. But yo, I forgot. Speaking of my memory. This is our first show that we recorded
That's
together.
right, this is our first show together.
So we've never, everything's been since the corona, so we've been like recording on Zoom and whatever the hell else. So this is our first chance to get together, man, and kind of talk about shit in person. And the real reason why we said, hey man, maybe we should do a show, because when we sit and have discussions, a lot of times things come out that like I learn from, but other people could learn from that shit, and and hear things and get a different perspective on people that are of our perspective. That we're out here doing the shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, man. Again, we appreciate it. There's been a whole lot more people subscribing to the page and getting a lot of more views on. We were just talking about the last one that we did. I forgot.
The busloads of Antifa.
Oh,
we know that you guys were just thinking we knew where all the busloads of Antifa were, but we're not in the know. We're not Tig.
We don't know where they are. Yeah, Tig is the one that, and ironically, man, right after that, in Greeley or Loveland, there was a guy that pulled a gun on some roofers, man.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to sell roofs. And the guy pulled a gun out on them, held them at gunpoint, and said that he thought they were Antifa, and kept them at gunpoint until the cops got there, man. So that dude was in jail.
They were wearing the Antifa uniform of a blue polo,
right,
and some shorts,
and a COVID mask. You know what I'm saying? Like in a clipboard.
That's definitely
Antifa.
But you called this too. You said you were worried one day you were going to be out talking to people about their roofs.
Yeah.
And some guy was going to pull a gun on you, and lo and behold,
it happened to him. Yeah, and just
Colorado.
imagine that they I guess all's good for them. I don't know how they feel about it. I didn't really talk. They just so happened to work for the same company that I work for, but all the way up north or whatnot. So I don't know them. I didn't get a chance to talk to them, but I imagine that they wish they would have had a gun, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know that there's not a chance that I'm gonna I'm gonna be at work and have myself be a victim of somebody's stupid shit just because I'm at work. Like, I don't give a shit about these people's money enough to like let somebody threaten me or do any of that kind of shit. So it'll be smoke in the city if you play with me like that. I promise you. I just bought a brand new gun this weekend with my son this year. So please don't play with me.
Do we get a cameo from your son,
Baby
or what?
son, come here, man. This my oldest right here. You guys know.
Have to squat down so he can see
just
you.
a little bit, Sean.
Ah,
Yeah.
he lives in Texas and he's even wearing a Broncos shirt.
Yeah, this guy is
I mean,
born and bred Bronco fan, man. He can't do anything other than that, man. So anyway, yeah, this is my pride and joy, man. He's home visiting for the summer, and yeah, we just drove back from Killeen, Texas. So yeah, man. Anyway, say hi, man.
hey. Good job.
Yeah, dude, thanks, man. All right, brother.
Right on.
Love you, man. All right.
Also, while we were down here, it sounds like they're coming back right now, the
Yeah.
march, which is great. While we were down here just hanging out because our stuff was down here, dude just rolled up and he's like, hey, is the protest down here? And we're like, what's this dude's deal?
Yeah.
Turns out he'd made like how big do you think that
It was
sign
probably like 17 by 8 foot. You know, it's like two plywood
yeah.
OSB boards of made up of a sign that he had. I put it on my Facebook. I can't remember everything that it said on there, but it was basically like fuck the police in so many
Black
words.
Lives Matter, and it had different people's names on it. He's like, could you guys come help me set it up at City Hall? So we'll put up the image too.
Yeah.
As we're doing this, because I was just like, right on, good for this guy. He's
Yeah,
like, I
it's
can't
dope.
make it down to the protests, but he just wanted to do something for it.
And
we
it
were
was like
talking about
a
that.
whole effort, man. It was like a big ass thing. He definitely didn't just do that last night, man.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it was dope, man.
And this is what's been happening, where it's like there's so much energy out there, and so many people are wanting to do things. It's like I don't know, it's inspiring.
It's
I feel like
inspiring, yeah, it's
shit's actually
motivating.
gonna
Yeah,
change.
it like makes me want to be like, okay, man, now how do I step this up a little bit? Because
Yep.
you can kind of
Yep.
see people like fumbling around trying to figure it out. Like they want to do something, and you want to make sure that what they're doing is effective. So you're like, hey, what about this? And think about this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
but I'm staying away from trying to manipulate people's like thinking like I'm thinking. I don't give a shit. Like as long like I have no idea what they're yelling about, but I'm glad that they're saying shut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Right the fuck now. Like that's perfect for me. You know what I'm saying? So
And
yeah,
like,
man.
it's just like I don't know who these organizers are. They just decided to organize this, and like this is what we've been seeing is more and more of this. Just like people are like, fuck this shit. We're just gonna do something. And like obviously they're new folks. You don't always know what to do, and
Yeah.
but this has just been what's happening. It's great. Maybe we should take a second.
Yeah, let's
while they,
let
roll in.
them get it out, man.
Roll in here.
DSA getting at it. Let me here I walk down and they finished.
What is this one? I signed that one weeks ago.
Still making its rounds.
No, I mean that's great. I've already done it.
Try to jamming.
Well, we didn't know they were gonna come back.
Yeah.
Mid-show.
I got my whole little setup. Hey, how you doing, baby? I got my whole little setup here, so my chairs is out. Oh, we was trying to cover them. There we go. All right.
Get a little closer so you guys
Yeah.
can still hear us.
All right. Yeah, man. So anyway, what's
Yeah.
on the agenda, man? What we talking about today?
Since there's been all this energy, one of the things that's come out of this in Colorado Springs has been let's see, I wrote it down, the exact name of it. The Law Enforcement Transparency and Accountability Commission that's happened. So we wanted to just give like a little overview of like how that happened and a little bit of analysis, I guess,
Yeah.
too, like based on our experience within the movement.
Yeah.
So this came out of, at least it's been a year in the making, right?
Right. Yeah.
well,
August 3rd.
Yeah, sort of. So last year, after Devon Bailey was murdered by the police, also, I don't know if people have seen our shirts, but we made these last
Oh, yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and we have the cops' names on there. Can you see it, Sean?
Yeah, they can see it there.
These are the cops that need to get out of there immediately. but
Right,
these
get
are
their
our
ass
demands.
out of there, yeah.
But this is basically a year in the making. Is after he was murdered, people immediately are like, what can we do? And one of the things that came up was like a lot of communities are creating these citizen oversight boards, and there's a lot of, like, Denver has a citizen oversight board.
Yeah.
Aurora has some, like different, San Francisco, Chicago, and like all of them are flawed, obviously. So it's like not a perfect solution to police violence.
Right.
We know this, but so you know, a group of people came together, and then it kind of got winnowed down into like, I don't know, a group of professionals, I guess. After we pleaded with city council on several occasions, like, you guys need to create some sort of the minimum you guys should do is create a civilian review board, some sort of citizen oversight.
Like at the very start of it, like that's the baseline what we need. Yeah.
Exactly. And so like a group started working on it, and they actually, you know, something I wouldn't have done. They brought in the police and city council members, and they went down to Austin for the NACOL meeting, the National Association of Civilian Oversight, something.
Something, yeah. And it wasn't free, by the way.
No, so they all went down there and they were working on it, and they came up with something that they felt like was acceptable to Colorado Springs. Like, personally, I felt like it could have been more.
Yeah.
They felt like that this was what they could get in Colorado Springs. And then, of course, with the most recent uprising, another group of people started working on a citizen advisory board, and it got the mayor's backing. There's a group called the People that it got the mayor's backing and several city council members' backing. And so what happened was these two groups brought their proposals to city council, and the NACOL group, the Austin group people have been calling them, had basically said, we want this commission to sit under the president, Richard Scorman, so he could sort of appoint people to it, and he had committed to putting people who are the most affected, so, you know, black and brown people, on the committee. The other group said that doesn't sound democratic enough, I guess.
Yeah.
And so the city council basically said, we would like to go with this advisory group, which is city council has all kinds of advisory groups. There's like Parks Advisory, Arts Advisory.
Go
so
and apply for all of
do
those
apply
boards,
for
man.
it.
Every single one. City planning, all of that stuff is so important, man.
But some of the issues that people brought up were these advisory boards are basically just hand selected, which, you know, granted, Scorman's was going to be hand selected, but he'd made a commitment to including people's voices who are most affected.
Not hand selecting a white dude.
Exactly, from like a white guy from
to another white
north,
guy.
Exactly, or Broadmoor.
Yeah.
Like, there was a commitment to like include a lot of voices from Southeast, include people of color on there, include poor white folks who were disproportionately affected as well. And so what happened was they ended up going with the People's version, which was like, it was weaker. They improved it after some discussion between the two groups, but it doesn't really give a lot of authority to the group, right? I mean, it basically...
None. I mean, there's no authority.
Yeah, they don't have it has no teeth, like, to be real.
That's the common consensus. No teeth, no backbone to it, can't do shit.
Yeah. So it's just an advisory board. But actually, to discuss this, since we're all just down at the park today, we have, oh crap, where did he go?
Oh, Tyler. Yeah, I think he's handing water out to the people that just came back.
So a fellow DSAer, he wanted to come on and discuss this with us too.
Yeah,
but we can't.
We'll bring him up once
We'll
he
bring
gets
him up.
back
Yeah.
You know us, man. We might try to plan a little bit, like what you see is like very hard planning on our part, but we're not very professional with this shit.
What? We're completely professional.
And I think that we like the way that we are and the way that this thing is, like, we get to the point, man, and this is exactly like, you know what I'm saying, it's not supposed to be like I don't know, man. I don't think that we'll be able to produce some. Maybe we could.
Maybe,
man.
yeah.
Maybe we should, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if we just came out with some speakers and stuff and like look real official, like people would gather around us.
That's
like
true,
like
actually.
ESPN.
We should
like
turn that
sport.
light on. That'll bring people over.
Like, make them come.
Yeah, we're recording. So
Yeah.
James is over here too. If you guys don't know James, we won't swear because James is here.
Yeah. So anyway, man, I think this oversight committee, and I it's been kind of hard to kind of gauge what everybody's like collective feeling behind this thing is, you know what I'm saying? But I think what's happening is a good thing. Like, when it's all said and done, we're gonna say, you know what, that shit started with that board, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. It started with that discussion being able to be open and then getting those people inside the door, the right people inside the door, hopefully, man. And if not, like, oh fucking well, like, if we weren't gonna stop anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't take it as a loss. I don't take it as it doesn't have teeth, so therefore it just wasn't worth anything. We'll be able to prove, like, look, this board can't do shit with this crime right here because of this shit that you guys wrote in there and didn't listen to us back months ago. Now here we are in the same boat. So, you know, what I want to really get at with this is the violence or the riots that's happening and all over the place, and shit is happening constantly, changing up, switching up. You know, I talked about this process that we asked to be changed, and we're asking for things to happen to make it different. You know, there's nothing inside this process that is set up to change itself. You know what I'm saying? It's not like some chameleon system that they said, oh, well, just in case we're gonna make it so it won't do that shit. No, it doesn't go in reverse or laterally. It just goes straight ahead.
You know, I thought Jill Gabler's comment that she made during this was like perfectly, like a perfect reflection of this, because she was like, you know, I met with these group of protesters and I told them that government works best when it's incremental. And I was like, well, we don't care if the government works best. We actually want what works best for the people.
Right.
And I think that like illustrated what her commitment is to like government stability or whatever it is, or her job on city council or whatever.
Making sure that the government can continue to do what it's doing and make it look like things are changing, you know, but they're really just keeping their fucking...
they're just like staying in the same place.
Right.
And I made a joke on your comment, or on your Facebook something recently, that like, we actually all learned in 9th grade civics class that like, this system was designed for stability.
Right,
You know?
but
like
just,
acting within the system is like going to keep that system in place.
Yeah.
But people keep believing that somehow just like doing these small incremental changes from within the system is what causes great change. I mean, I have to blame our education system.
It is, man. I mean, well, you know, I mean, to blame it or to credit it, because you know, it did what it was set out to do. You know, to keep everybody in check, and their way of thinking. Like, dude, I'm not getting down with that. Like, even my family, I'll send them events and stuff, and they'll say, hey, have a good time with that. Good luck on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they won't even come out to this shit. So, and that's people that care about me and that are thinking about you know, my well-being or whatnot. So just imagine if a motherfucker that don't give a damn about me whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? They're definitely not coming over there. So anyway, man, yeah, I think that there's a lot to that, you know what I'm saying? And we should make sure we take heed, and just where we are, everywhere that we, because you know, you're not gonna be able to change 100 people's mind faster than you will to 10 or 20 people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis in your life, and that understand who you are. And so that's where it comes in at, because then those 10 or 20 people will, you know, the domino effect, you know what I'm saying? And before you know it, you planted a seed, and go ahead, and then you make sure you're raising your kids the right way and all that shit. So anyway, that's the slow incremental changes that we're talking about, you know, not the government.
You know, there's actually, you're talking about that, like how changes made me think of a Lenin quote, and if you guys all know this Lenin quote, I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's something like, there are decades when nothing happens, and then there are weeks when decades happen. And I think that's a great point, because we've seen in the last 3 to 4 weeks so much stuff has happened, and I think it was because we talked about this on 2 episodes ago, that people were inspired. People were like, oh my God, there's been this massive uprising. I mean, also that video of George Floyd was just like, I think it was so difficult to watch. But like, let's be real, there's been a lot of horrible videos that are difficult to watch. This one was like, obviously, like, it was just like, geez, it was so fucking, there was so much malice there. But I think it was just like, people were inspired by like this nationwide uprising. I mean, there were people in France demonstrating, or people in Germany demonstrating, and I think that we need to remember that like, when we act boldly, when we do things that are outside of the norm, that's when like people's imaginations sort of like catch fire.
And the world supports it, man. Like, that's, you know, I was talking on my social media about, you know, there's a lot of demonizing going on with the things that are happening. You know, there's people losing family members and friends. I got people on my page that are like, man, I've lost like 30 people since this shit's happened, with the things that they say. You know, and these things are like, you know, I guess, like, the point of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, why, the real reason why this is happening is to root that shit out, you know what I'm saying? Right where it's at, man. So, yeah, man, I think that it's all, this is that paradigm shit. I mean, obviously nobody will really know until they write it in history or whatever, but it feels like, oh shit, maybe this is what was happening in the 60s and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The
like,
paradigm shift,
the
exactly,
whole
totally.
thing is, I smell weed right now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
It's
was
a
trying to
paradox.
figure out
Yeah.
if it was
No,
weed
that-
or cloves.
Yeah, it might be
cloves and
closed.
weed.
Yeah, it might be closed. Yeah.
But we're in Acacia Park. It
Yeah,
smells
who
like
knows what that shit is.
Gosh, I was hoping that we could get Tyler over here. We've lost him. I wanted to hear his take on what happened with the police advisory
Yeah.
board that we've lost. Here, I'm gonna go
Oh, there
grab
he
him
is.
real quick.
There he is, Tyler.
Oh, I think maybe Sean.
Yeah, Sean's gonna grab him, get him.
Thank you.
Getting some stuff signed.
This is
Yeah,
why kids are great.
Right, yeah. He's like right on it too. He's so nosy. He gets that from me, man. Like I would be so nosy listening to every word come out my parents' mouth, man. But though that's how I learn. So that's why I don't get upset when he does it. Like just I make sure I don't say things he doesn't need to hear.
Sure, that's good. I'm probably not very good at
Yeah,
that.
man, because he's like in my mouth constantly. I know he is, man. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it looks like Tyler's on the way. But what was next on there, man? Or do you want to edit this part?
Well, I think we
wanna
just
just-
wanted to talk a little bit more about like what we want to see moving forward too. So I think that having some sort of advisory board is good, but Empowerment Solidarity Network, DSA, and Chinook have all actually set bigger goals, which I think is good.
Yeah.
You don't want to stop and be like, well, we got this thing. You want to keep pushing, right?
Right, right.
And I honestly think that abolition is a great. I know a lot of people don't like this when we say defund the police or police abolition, and I think it's because they imagine
No police.
well, yeah, they imagine a society that's just like today's society,
Yeah.
except you've cut out the police, which it does seem kind of scary for a lot of folks, right? I mean, for a
Right.
lot of folks, they're like, oh God, thank God, no more police. I could finally be free.
Yeah.
I mean, I know as a white dude, like, I get nervous around police, and I have been. You brought up that thing on your Facebook, like, when was the first time you had the gun pulled on you by the police?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, Sean, I have had so many, if anybody on here knows me personally, like I've had a lot of run-ins with the police since I was young, like, because I was like a troublemaker,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, and I've been like convicted of a felony, never had a gun pulled on me by the police. And like every single black person on your Facebook post was like, well, I was like 15, 14, 16, 17, like every single person.
Yeah,
and like I consider myself woke,
Right,
and
right.
like that's just something that like kind of blew me away, because like
By the time we're in maybe sophomore year, junior year in high school, it's already happened, man. The police have definitely already taught you what it is. The resource officers in the school too, you know what I mean? It's all like, they gotta get the fuck out of there, man. The recruiters and stuff, all of those people teach you what you are, you know what I'm saying, in this world. And then now you go on and perpetuate what they taught you, you know what I mean? And it's true, there's no doubt about it that it's exactly the way that it's set up. I don't know, here's the thing. It's hard to say that a system is set up to do this shit. Like, because you could say if there were no racist people inside that system, it would operate correctly. It would be just fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, the jails would be empty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, everybody would get sentenced in jail correctly. You know what I'm saying? According to their correct crime or whatever the hell it is. Like, those things would happen. But since all we do have is this racist, bigoted idiots in charge and making the policy and doing
like
all this shit.
making the system,
Making
essentially.
it up, right. You know what I'm saying? So, it's hard to like say that whole institution is a problem. It's the people, dude. It's the people. And Tyler's here now, but we got into a conversation yesterday about there was a pop-up protest inside of one of the neighborhoods off of
I saw that video.
Galleon. You went to off of the Powers area over there somewhere. And like they were marching through the street just saying Black Lives Matter, Blue Street, our street, and this dude came out, fuck you pieces of, gay. I mean, they was everything but a child of God, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, they went to where the person where it was at, and it showed his face, you know what I'm saying? So no matter where you are, you have an ability to pop that shit out and make it come out, and then we could get this system together, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you want to bring a chair up, man?
Yeah, so this is Tyler. He's from DSA.
Yeah.
We just wanted to talk to him a little bit about
Yeah,
what
we're gonna
his thoughts on like the
shift just a
recent
bit.
demonstrations, the oversight, what he thinks needs to be done. I don't know if you can still hear me. Sorry, this is our least professional one. But also this is the first time we've had like such an audience.
Yeah, this is the biggest audience
All
we've
right,
had.
yeah,
We got
this is like
5
live
people.
audience. All right, thanks everybody.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, you got to come a little bit tighter there, John. And I'll lean in. There we go.
You can scoot in.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry, we're not
Cool.
wearing our masks.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Oh, you're fine. You're
You
fine.
have
Yeah.
your mask on. All right, so we've been talking about like the demonstrations over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and police. We're just calling it the police advisory board.
Yeah.
and wanted to talk to you about like what you've thought about the demonstrations over the last few weeks, what you think about the police oversight board, what do you think it's adequate? What are your thoughts on it? And like, do we need more? So on and so forth. So
well, first talk about all the actions that have been going on. I think it's been great. I think that's exactly what's been needed to get people's eyes on the problem, because without those actions going on, more people would still be saying that, if you just do nothing wrong, the police won't do anything.
Yeah.
We see on the internet every day that people doing nothing wrong, their interactions with the police go south all the time.
Right.
And as great as the police advisory board sound, that's all it is an advisory board. They're going to take any advice that board gives them and throw it right into the suggestion bin, aka the trash.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Because the mindset with police is, if you're not a police, you don't know.
Well, and the police chief and the mayor both basically said we don't want people who aren't cops making decisions about what cops should be doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then, that's the thing. And then when you think about them having the audacity to say that out loud, like, where did it come in that cops don't have to listen to the public? I don't understand. Like, openly,
they're public employees.
Right. I don't understand where that came from. So, where we talked about where changing the mindset and the perspective of people where you are, like. Ask that question to people. If you think you know the answer to that, please let us know. Anyway, sorry. But anyway, if you think you know the answer, let us know, man. Because look, I don't think you can make it. It's intellectually dishonest to say shit like that. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to the point where we're just looking at police different and what they are and what they should be and what that gap is, and then we can figure out what we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I as a freaking teacher at the university get like every single semester, every single class gets to decide whether or not I was good enough at my job.
Right.
Like every single student. Like imagine if and plus then like your boss also, like they read over that, but then they just get to sort of decide too, like in an evaluation. Like I'm sure cops have evaluations. Every job has an evaluation. Yeah. But imagine if every single person that had an interaction with a cop was like, I would rate this a shitty experience,
Yeah,
like that, maybe that would
and why
be more
would they
fair.
not be allowed to? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it should be something that it's just like they're looking
Just
for.
think about how audacious that is if you are a police officer, you can't understand what's going on with the police. You can't understand why this interaction is this way.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm a person. I understand a way to treat someone with dignity and respect, even in a situation as messed up as the cops may have to be in.
Right.
Well, I thought it was interesting too. The original proposal, and it's still in there a little bit, said that you would be required to go on a drive along with the police, and you'd be required to interview, I think, 2 police. I think they took out the requirement and said it would be an option, but like, why would that be a requirement? I didn't see anything in that proposal that said it would be a requirement to like walk 2 miles in the shoes of a person who's like stopped regularly by police and harassed regularly by police. You know what I'm saying? There was no attempt to be like,
The other way around.
yeah, exactly. These are the communities that are like over
There's a
policed.
word for that. It's called fraternization.
Yeah.
And you don't want your oversight
Exactly.
board fraternizing
Fraternizing.
with the people that they're supposed to be looking over.
Yeah.
Because that's the basic seed of corruption right there.
Exactly.
And and if it were an honest attempt to make this be an effective tool for the community, they know that that's not what's needed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's like you have to be submissive to this relationship in order for it to work here. Even when we got a traffic stop, it's got to be yes or no, sir.
Yep.
We come to your house, it's got to be yes or no, sir. But we're now when we're dealing with you with snap. Now where we're dealing with you with a with this board and on the government level, it's got to be yes or no, sir.
Yep,
You know what I mean? So it's just like, man, dude, at some point, it's got to be like, fuck you, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's going to come to. There's no denying that city after city after city is thinking about this and wondering, like, hey, why are we not doing what Minneapolis did? Like, you know what I'm saying? And their cops are still saying, you know what? We're still gonna shoot your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I mean,
wish
except
you
they
would try
abolished they voted to abolish the Minneapolis Police Department.
I saw that
today. So like, there's a goal, guys. So I'm just gonna go grab a battery pack because we're running low on batteries. It looks like. In here.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'll just grab
All
that
right,
real quick.
I'll,
I'll be right. You guys
yeah.
can. Talk
No,
about
we'll hit. All right, man. Where we leave off at?
Yeah, we had to get the battery pack. So
Yeah.
I actually don't remember. We were just
We
talking
were going
about
to talk about the way that they're selecting the board.
Yeah,
You want to
that's
break
right.
that down
Yeah.
for him?
So essentially how a board is selected in Colorado Springs is the citizenry is supposed to submit an application to Colorado Springs, and then they call you for an interview and they select you. In practice, what happens is a Colorado Springs council member usually talks to their friends or people they think would be good for the board, whether or not they're friends or not, and asks for them to submit an application, and then they eventually get chosen. So this is the problem with a police advisory board in Colorado Springs, is that the very people who are putting this board in place are selecting people who are sympathetic to them, such as the right-wing council members who don't want police oversight at all.
Right.
And another problem is the board itself doesn't prohibit family members of law enforcement and doesn't prohibit law enforcement or retired law enforcement from other communities who moved here to be on the board. So now we have people who are sympathetic to the police providing oversight and advisory.
Yeah,
And what's the point of that? I hate to say it in these terms, but the board needs to be adversarial to the police to keep the police honest.
Right. Yeah. It can't be a you know what I'm saying, like a what's that word, like an ebb and flow relationship where everything goes together. It can't be that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, obviously, that means the police have to be able to say, no, we don't want to do that, and here's why. You know what I mean? It has to be an open discussion. I agree,
exactly.
but it has to be an open discussion. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's the same thing. You don't let bosses on unions for a reason,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Because if your boss was in the union, then the union would just serve the boss's interests, and that's
Right.
exactly what this is. You're right. You have to have that like adversarial relation. And like we said, this isn't even like police oversight boards are like already just like minimum,
It's the bare minimum.
and
It's
yet they're weakening that even more. I mean, what's been really frustrating too is watching how. I mean, the mayor has been he has been sowing the divisions more and more among these groups too.
100%.
Like, because it's been really annoying to watch. Like, because I don't want to say like us in particular, like we're writing anything, but there have been a group of people that have been involved in this, and the mayor has basically pretended as if that wasn't happening and said like. There was a group of people who I didn't like their tactics, that's why I didn't work with them.
Yeah.
But it's completely disacknowledging, if that's even a word,
Right.
the fact that like we came peacefully and he didn't move, and so then like things had to escalate a little bit, and like now he's using that as sort of, he's like gaslighting us basically.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Now it's
And
raining
then,
on us, everybody.
So, yeah, it's raining out here, but so it's like,
Grab my
it's about to
speaker.
go, huh?
No,
Yeah.
All right, sorry, the weather's giving us a hard time, but we were talking about police oversight and being the minimum, right?
Man, we should have turned around. Anyway, sorry, my bad.
You're all right.
This is what professionalism looks like, ladies.
Sean is giving
we're
the
giving you a run
professionals
for
a
your
hard
money
time.
over here. There's some real newscasters over here telling the news and stuff. Anyway, yeah, man. So we were talking about I forgot where we left off at.
Police advisory,
How they were selecting the
fraternizing.
people and the kind of the parameters that city council put on this stuff. So he laid out that you can't be an ex-cop from a different state or a different police, or city or whatnot. And why? Like, what's the purpose of that? So that you can't tell us how other departments operated in the best policing practices. There was a study that we did. There was someone here I forgot the lady's name from UCCS. She had the two college kids that presented a whole list of a whole research study to the police, the chief of police.
Florencia Rojo,
Yeah.
But no, you can be a cop from another.
You can.
You can be a
Oh,
retired
I
cop.
thought it said
from
you
else.
can't.
No, you can.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, he didn't. The CSPD doesn't do any of these things that the best policing practices in the nation. They don't do any of. It's like a list of 36 things or 46 things. Not one of them do we do here in Colorado Springs. So, you know, anyway, whether they do allow cops here or not, they're not going to pick anybody that's going to tell them that they're doing wrong. It's for damn sure, you know.
So what do you think we need to, what are we doing next? What do you think the next steps forward should be from here? Because we don't want this to end here. I'm eavesdropping on the people from the news, and they're just pointing out that we didn't want it to be a moment, we want it to be a movement. So what does the movement do from here, do you think?
So Colorado Springs DSA's next move with our partners in Empowerment Solidarity Network and the Chinook Center are going to be put together a people's budget, where our first priority is going to be defunding the police. That has to be the number one thing. We need to take money out of a system that isn't making our community any better and actually is actively adverse to my communities. And we need to take that money and put in things like housing and schools, things that actively make our community better and solve the issues that police are believed to have solved. That's the next step.
Right, getting at the root of crime, because there's this thing, people believe that cops solve crime, but cops usually don't, right?
Cops write a receipt for crime.
Yeah,
That's all
they
do.
They write the
They
receipt
show
for
up,
crime.
they write, hey, this happened, give it to your insurance.
Yep.
I don't need a guy at a gun in 40 hours of violence training to give me a receipt.
Yeah, that's for
Totally.
damn sure, man.
Well, I had like $2,000 stolen from my bank account once up in Pennsylvania, and like we're like, okay, we went to my bank, and they're like, well, you have to file a police report in order for it to like get back or whatever. So we filed a police report, and they're like, okay, we have no idea what to do with this. You know, like it was just like it was basically just like extra piece of paperwork that we had to do.
Right.
But the police literally did nothing. It was
Imagine
just
if
a
there was
report that we had to file.
Imagine if there was some like lawyer type position that knew the law and knew the procedure for you to actually get you what you needed and the support you needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of a guy who's trained on literally a myriad of laws that he only remembers the one that can get people in trouble, for one.
Totally.
And two, he's also trained in how to use all these violent techniques and not in de-escalation, which is a voluntary training in most police departments.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow. That's voluntary.
Yep.
Goodness, man.
So the excuse is it's expensive. Granted, all these trainings are expensive,
Right,
but,
right.
and there's no money for it. But you know, police are eating up
With their
40% of the budget in most cities.
with their tanks and their guns.
Yeah, and they're damn.
I mean, they may get those tanks for free, but what's the maintenance cost on those things?
Yeah.
Indeed, man. Well, what else we got, John?
And I think that kind of finishes it up. I appreciate you coming by, Tyler.
Appreciate you having me.
I apologize to our viewers today for like the little bit of chaos that's been part of this, but I don't know, maybe it's been fun for them.
Yeah, it's a little different, man, than me sitting in my damn garage and.
This is where the action is.
Yeah, this is where it's at, man. Where it was happening at. So yeah, we appreciate it, man, guys. Hey, look, support it, man. Anything that's happening, get out there and try to get a sign up, do something, man. Make sure that you're talking to people. Make sure you're voting correctly. Primaries coming up on Tuesday, right? Yeah, so we gotta make sure we're voting on Tuesday, man. Do not vote for Mark Waller, please don't. And
you know, I gotta say, don't vote for Allen. Allen is supported by Southers, Dan May, and the police union.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know, like, I don't want Waller or Allen, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll write in DSA candidate.
yeah, maybe write in John Chris Jansen. I'll give you the spelling on my Facebook page.
So I can't stress how it is important to vote, but even if there's nobody on the ballot, just send in a blank ballot. Protest vote.
Or just like, right, fuck you, abolish the police.
Right.
Be active civically, but also show that you're not happy with the candidates that are put forward.
Yeah. I mean, the Democrats didn't run anybody this time, and that just shows like their complete lack of knowing what they're doing here in Colorado Springs for DA.
For DA. So I'm going to talk about DA for a minute. The requirements for DA are absurd.
I'm sure.
You have to you have to have your law degree, which is obvious. I'm not going to say that's absurd. But having to be registered here in Colorado and practice for X amount of years in order to become a DA is the absurd part. And little inside knowledge that's why there's no Democratic candidates. We couldn't find a person who met the wickets.
He's an insider.
I
was gonna also say, like, get involved in DSA. They're doing a lot of stuff right now, and follow Empowerment Solidarity Network, follow Chinook Center. I mean, there's other people doing stuff, but these are the groups that we're familiar with and the groups that like we're a part of and active in. But also just like get involved. Like, I don't know who this group of folks was that organized this today, but like good for them getting
Yeah.
out here and just doing shit.
Yeah, he just hit me up, man. Matter of fact, I might we might after this we'll clip over and go over and give him a quick interview. And he's the guy that organizes right here. He just
Oh,
hit me
sweet.
up. Oh, and
Yeah.
Charles and Chauncey's over there too. So we'll probably go holler at them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, man. Hey, all right, Southside, love y'all.
All right, peace out, everybody. Thanks a lot.
This is a